of impact. Tata Motors Commercial Vehicles, designing, testing and leading the future of trucking with safety at its core.
Many thanks for staying within your interest. Our second segment on IYI tonight, because India is tightening the lens on surveillance. We've pulled the plugs on Chinese CCTV makers. Now, is this an important and a mandatory national security move, or is this now going to be a costly reset for the entire market at large? Take a look at this. For years, we have installed CCTV cameras in our homes, offices, and across our streets for one simple reason. That's to feel safe. But what if the very eyes meant to protect us were actually watching us for someone else? We're looking at a massive shift in India's security landscape. Starting 1st of April 2026 this year, the Indian government is effectively tightening the screws on Chinese-made surveillance equipment. That's right. It's no longer just about whether a camera works. It is about where the data goes and who has the master key to that software. Every surveillance camera must now get approval from the STQC, the government's testing body. And this includes strict checks on hardware, software, the firmware, and even the source code. Companies have to disclose where critical parts like chips come from. And if a device fails these tests, it will lose its Bureau of Indian Standards, validity, and cannot be sold or imported anymore. The focus is on cybersecurity and stopping remote access vulnerabilities. Many Chinese-made devices have raised concerns because Chinese law requires companies to cooperate with state intelligence agencies. Reports say nearly 1 million government cameras in India were of Chinese origin, and video data could be sent to overseas servers. Indian brands have already taken a big lead. They now control over 80% of the CCTV market. More than 500 models have been cleared under the new compliance rules, and the Indian CCTV market is worth around $4.4 to $5 billion today and is, needless to say, expected to grow further in the coming years. Even though many components still come in from China, the policy is pushing for trusted sourcing and greater self-reliance. This is not just about safety, it's about national security. That's right. Cameras are the eyes and ears of the nation. If they have weak security, they can be turned into tools for spying or cyber attacks. Several countries, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, they've already restricted Chinese CCTV for similar reasons. In the past, Chinese origin devices were linked to incidents targeting India's power grid and other critical infrastructure. Big questions that we must ask and get answers to. Indian brands now control 80% of the market. But with 80% of the components still sourced from China, is this true Make in India or just local assembly of foreign risks? And as mandatory testing and source code disclosures become the norm, will the rise in compliance costs make security unaffordable for the average Indian out there, for the small businesses or the homeowners? With us, Professor Triveni Singh, IPS, founder Future Crime Research Foundation on the broadcast, and Kumud B. Dubey, cybersecurity expert. Mr. Dubey, let's get the snowball rolling here. Many thanks for taking out the time. You know, we keep hearing security threat, but let's simplify this for the viewers. What's really happening at play? How exactly can a CCTV camera that's imported, let's say, from China become a spying tool? What's the real risk? What happens to this source code for somebody who's not well versed with the idea? Are we talking about theoretical vulnerabilities? That, because we know that there have been actual instances very recently with Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, being captured and looked at from a CCTV, where surveillance systems were clearly compromised. And the report suggests a lot of government cameras that were Chinese CCTV. So, put this in simpler context for the viewers first.
So, as you said, let us first go on the facts. 2018 African Union headquarters, they were being monitored on a regular basis for 5 long years from 12 midnight to 2 a.m. in the night. Those CCTV cameras were sending data to Shanghai. This explosive, reveal was done and was very, very clear that all the building infrastructure as well as IT services of that particular African Union headquarters was actually built and thoroughly, the IT infrastructure was developed by Chinese companies. So this is not new.
Okay.
US, UK, they have already banned in the federal infrastructure, they have banned Chinese companies from providing surveillance equipment, from providing CCTV cameras, especially. Just recently, I was watching a British web series called, I don't know, I should name it or not, but yes, it was a British series and it is not a very old series. It's available on OTT platform.
Yeah.
And that also clearly mentioned, it's a British series, UK based series, which clearly mentioned that their federal infrastructure was compromised by Chinese companies. So this is not, this is not hidden anymore. So we can actually take these facts and
So it clearly was a
yeah.
cause of concern. It clearly was a cause of concern.
Yes.
And with
So-
more and more affordability in the common man out there, they're trying to plug and install many kinds of CCTVs, in and around their houses, the local localities. Let's bring in our other panelists as well.
Yeah.
We've got, Mr. Dubey, who's with us also on the broadcast. Let's get the snowball to you as well. Mr. Dubey, what's your opinion? Surveillance infrastructure today is as critical as the defense hardware in national security terms. It's no news. Professor has clearly pointed that out. But globally, countries like the United States, the United Kingdom that I mentioned in the introduction as well, they have all acted against Chinese firms. So what's the timing telling us? Are we too late to the party in pulling the plug, or are we acting at the right time? What about our dependence on these Chinese imports? Sir, can you hear us?
Hello.
Professor Triveni.
Hello.
Yeah. Did you get the question, sir?
See ya. So, as happened, you remember a CCTV network in Delhi was compromised. And when it was investigated, then it was found that some ISI handlers were at the back end. And the entire CCTV footage were being uploaded on their own server. So they were, for how long they were monitoring all these activities. My perception is not it's a privacy issue, it's a national security threat. Because by CCTV footage and recording, they can map your strategic location, they can map the VIP location, even they can guess out your entire traffic plan. And you see what happened when Israeli hacked into the Iran network.
That's right.
They were monitoring their traffic signals for a very long time. So they mapped their driver activities, the supreme leader of Iran. They mapped each and everything, and that's why they use this surveillance as a tool for a precision attack. And you saw the result, and that's why even in USA last year, what USA did, they ruled out each and every installation of Chinese telephone infra. Telecom network, because there were some backdoors and Chinese were spying on them through the backdoor. Same thing is happening here as well, because Chinese made camera. They
So
have their.
this is not just about cameras.
They're not their source code.
Professor, this seems to be not about cameras. This seems to be about data flows and control. How do we manage that front?
Yeah. It's the problem is that the data is not being in an encrypted way. It's since sense of cybersecurity is very on the lower side in India. Nobody is testing any camera from cybersecurity angle, and that's why now the ministry has mandated it for stricter security norms. They have put in STQC, as certification agency, and they have told that you will have to test your all devices in BIS
Is that enough?
lab.
Is that enough? Is that enough, Professor? The STQC, is that going to be enough?
Yeah. Once your these cameras are tested properly
Okay.
and certified by government agency, definitely the chances for compromise of this CCTV will be lesser.
Okay. Kumud Dubey, what do you make of this? The new certification rules, do they genuinely plug on these loopholes, or can vulnerabilities still exist even in our new certified system 1st April onwards?
See, the CCTV cameras, why are they vulnerable? Because they are connected to the network as well, right? They are IP devices. Ultimately, they are connected to the internet. So they are allowed remote access. So even if we, secure our networks so that the remote access is only through, say, a VPN or through a secure channel, even then, if we are having the firmware that can allow remote access, that can be a challenge. And if we, totally import Chinese made CCTVs, they have their own embedded operating systems. They have their own firmware, which allows backdoor access, which allows remote access, which allows the video accesses, which of course, with all this certification and bringing in those norms, and plus the Make in India initiative for the CCTVs at sensitive places.
No, that's great. That's great. Mr. Dubey, see, understand, the domestic brands, they are clearly expected to gain from this. But realistically, I'm trying to understand, and I'll ask Professor Triveni the same as well. But first to you, do Indian companies really have the scale and the technology to fill this gap, and with the speed? 1st of April is right around the corner.
See, the Chinese, it's not about the technology. We know that we are basically tech brains of the whole of the world. Everyone knows that we have tech brains. The only thing why the Chinese companies win over us is through the money. I mean, it is through the pricing that they give us, with the financial affordability that they give the companies. The devices that are coming here, they are so financially affordable. That is why we want to bring them in. But that is not the cost. The price that we are paying for that is our privacy. The price that we are paying is our surveillance, our records being directly in real time being accessed. That is the price we have to pay. So for the very, very sensitive areas like railway stations, like airports, should be a mandate that only made in Indian devices should be installed in those particular places.
No, yeah, absolutely right. Professor Triveni, what's your viewpoint on this? Indian-made CCTVs. Chinese players have dominated this space clearly because of one aspect, that they were cheaper. Now, what kind of price impact will the consumers and the businesses, what can they expect now? Mr. Dubey here saying that all these very sensitive places should have Indian-made CCTVs. But then again, networks can be hacked as well. Are we really safe in 2026?
But my perception is, even as of now, you see the statistics, 80% of CCTVs are being supplied from Indian manufacturers only. And quality-wise, they are not inferior. But there are some, bad players who are importing each and everything from the China and then assembling, and they are saying that it's make in India. If there is a stringent check and control over that, we should not allow someone to import each and every component separately and then assemble here and say that it's make in India product. There are definitely few manufacturers who are really into this domain, and they are offering quality services. My opinion is that each and every camera should be manufactured here in India. Because then we can review their source code, we can review their formula, we can do the malware analysis, all that. But once you are taking something from Chinese, you can't be sure what's there in their entire program.
You're 100% right, sir. I'm just worried about the fact that how soon can we do something like that? It would be great to see all made in India CCTVs across the country, but how soon? We're a very large country.
So, but government of India has not banned it. they have mandated them to go through certain security protocols. They have to keep their devices certified and tested in lab. That's the government of India has said. It's not going to ban.
You talk about the STQC. You talk about the STQC, right? The quality control that's been put in place, the new standard. Now, Mr. Dubey, is there any chance, because we know how good the Chinese are when it comes to technology. We are the tech brains for the entire world, but let's not, discredit the Chinese. They know what they're doing as well. And they do it, in half the price. So is there a possibility that these Chinese imports or these Chinese, CCTVs are able to bypass the STQC? They learn to do it somehow. Is that also a vulnerability that we should look at?
No. That मतलब आप तो ये कह रहे हैं कि police, the police itself who is verifying the thief, they are also a part of it. So that cannot be. Of course, we are putting in efforts to make that particular area foolproof. And as I said, we do not need to rush into these kind of things. We just need to be sure that in the particular sensitive areas, at least, we should have proper certified, proper verified, proper security protocols. We should have all those checks in place so that we are sure that at least at particular places where there are national security issues, at those particular places, at least we should have either certified cameras and surveillance systems, or they should be properly Indian made from a manufacturer that we can trust on.
So that we start somewhere. You're absolutely right. We've got to start somewhere, take the smaller steps first, one punch, one round at a time. But Ms. Dubey, do you think the timing is right? We could have done this about 5-6 years back. Why now suddenly?
See, the world is at a very crucial stage right now. So probably we have to make a first step. And right now, what we are seeing, you only mentioned how Khamenei was being washed over and how he was trapped. So looking at that, probably this is the perfect step. We have to start somewhere. So we started now, which is a very good step indeed.
Okay, so what I've basically understood is that can your CCTV really spy on you? Well, that's right, it can. Cyber experts with us on the broadcast have simplified that threat for us. The scale of the risk is magnanimous. We've already spoken about that. And the impact on people's pockets is going to be there. But this is a necessary step that we have to start. Security versus cost versus dependency. I think we have to start somewhere. And Mrs. Dubey here is of the opinion that let's start small, at least the sensitive places, the delicate places, the places of national security. Let's put our Indian-made CCTV cameras over there, because Professor Triveni says that Indian-made cameras and the Indian-made firmware, the Indian-made software, you can trace it back right to the source code. There's going to be absolute transparency rather with where that data is actually flowing. So a safer surveillance system may come at a higher price, but the real question is, can India afford not to act? And I think we have the answer to that as well. Many thanks, Mrs. Dubey, for taking out the time. Professor Triveni, many thanks for taking out the time and speaking to us here. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of In Your Interest. Next time you're buying a CCTV camera, you should ask, what's the firmware? What's the software? Does it cross and check past that STQC standard as well? Because this is a moment of national security as well. Many thanks for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow.